Look up, look out! Good morning, you! The fun is rising!
Today might be the day that Bob gets fired.
It'll never close us up today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bingo! Good morning. I'm Frank Thomas. Getting up at 7 o'clock a.m., now that's really the big hurt. Welcome to Fox Thing in the morning. Leading off today, Bob and Mary Ann.
Welcome to the Chicago 7 to 9 a.m. information service. We'll have news, weather, and traffic updates every 10 minutes, plus surprises. I'm Bob Surratt.
I'm Mary Ann Murciano. Good Thursday morning. It's April 22nd. It's 48 degrees at O'Hare. Cloudy and foggy today. Showers and storms later on. You can expect a high of 55. Here's what's happening at 7 o'clock. A Downers Grove man who barricaded himself in his apartment last night died after a shootout with police. Hundreds of mourners gathered in Denver last night to remember the victims of Tuesday's shooting rampage. Meanwhile, authorities will continue their investigation inside the school today.
Yugoslavia's government-run news agency says NATO warplanes destroyed one of Slobodan Milosevic's homes today, but the president and his family were not there at the time. Sports, Scottie Pippen has been arrested in Houston early this morning on suspicion of drunk driving. The Bulls last night lost to New Jersey 99-87. Baseball, the Sox over Seattle 2-1. Cubs lost yesterday to Houston 10-3. More in this morning's news stories coming right up. Also today, Steve Stone. We'll have coffee with him. Later, DonCrab.com and his review of the big computer convention, Comdex.
Also, our random tape today is from the Rosemont Cable Access Show, Models on Parade. And later on this morning, we'll be picking somebody to talk to David Spade in today's 15 Minutes of Something. It's 7:01. Let's get a weather look. Rick?
Yeah, and it's a real awful one this morning, Marion and Bob. Dense fog shrouding much of the metropolitan area. You really don't see it downtown, but the ceiling down to about 100 to 200 feet, and some heavy thunderstorms right now moving through the western suburbs. Quick look forecast today shows an afternoon high right around 55 degrees, about 5 degrees cooler than it was yesterday, and probably about 5 degrees cooler along the lakefront as that wind blows off that chilly 48-degree lake water. So rainy and foggy throughout much of the metropolitan area. And look at the latest Doppler radar imagery. We pulled up a heavy thunderstorm just to the west right now of O'Hare Field. The storm is right now up to about 40,000 feet. And because the wind is from the east, the planes actually have to land from the west. I wouldn't be surprised if O'Hare is probably shut down for a brief period of time this morning as they wait for that storm to actually move north of the area. North of the area right now is where much of the heavy weather is occurring. Some of this activity came through the area about 6 or 7 o'clock last night, producing some large hail across the western suburbs. But even though we're not going to get rain all day today, we'll probably stay kind of foggy and damp and also very drizzly as well. Half mile, that's all the visibility is currently at O'Hare, also a half mile at Midway, down to a fraction of a mile right along the lakefront, and temperatures along the lakefront once again today probably only in the upper 40s. That's where they are right now. 47 at the lakefront, 48 at O'Hare, 48 at Midway. Warm front is just to the south of us. Nationally, you can see this is part of a much larger system out across the Texas Panhandle, producing snow currently in eastern Colorado. And as we make the maps move over the next 24 to 36 hours, notice the rain will be with us later on today, also tonight, and probably into much of the day tomorrow. But by Saturday, we think this area of precipitation will slide south of us, so the weekend isn't going to be a complete washout, but nonetheless, temperatures really not warming up much today. So morning dense fog, visibility down to near zero along the lakefront, and right now reduced to a half mile at both O'Hare and Midway. Probably some lengthy delays, even some cancellations at both airports today. Be prepared for that high 55. For tonight, more rain, temperatures generally down in the 40s, and a high tomorrow of only 52. A lot of drizzle tomorrow after some morning rain. It clears out nicely for the second half of the weekend, just in time for the March of Dimes Walkathon on Sunday morning.
I bet there's a weatherman, a meteorologist who works here who's part of that.
I don't know who he is.
Thank you.
No, really, just on the serious note, O'Hare and Midway probably some lengthy cancellations, not only because of the fog, but because of the rain as well. So it's going to be a mess. Well, I wouldn't say all day, at least for the first part of the day, but sometimes if it's messy in the morning, it stays that way throughout much of the day, as we know.
The system gets backed up. As O'Hare goes, so goes the nation.
Give them some Metamucil, they'll be fine.
7:04. Thank you for that tip.
Let's get to traffic now. Sheila, can't fly today, huh?
You are correct. We can't fly because of the fog. You can see kind of at the top of your screen a little fog out there in the background, but that's why we're on the ground. And you guys were talking about O'Hare delays and cancellations. Actually, they're reporting 1/2 hour to hour delays. They've got some cancellations as well. Midway's got some delays too. So if you've got a flight to catch this morning, you're definitely going to want to call first. Also, there are delays on the East Coast because of weather, so just check the airlines that you may be flying out on. Now, first off, we're going to tell you what's going on out in the Braidwood area. This is on northbound I-55. It's near the Braidwood exit. All lanes are blocked with a rollover semi. Now, the semi was carrying rice, which is all over the roadway, so everything is closed on the northbound side. Southbound does have one lane open, but your detour for northbound is you can exit at Route 47, go north to Route 113, and then head over east, and you can re-enter I-55. But this has been going on for quite some time, and they're going to take a little while longer to clean everything up. Now, we'll check out the travel times and show you how things are looking on the roadways. 23 in or out on the Edens, and if you're coming in from the airport, about 27 minutes into downtown. 11 from the junction, actually 12 from the junction. 10 in the express lanes, and 35 minutes on the outbound side of the airport. Eisenhower is not that bad. It's 47 minutes in from Route 53, 27 from Mannheim. The extension road work doesn't look too bad this morning. 43 heading out to the north-south tollway. Stevenson has got a delay first from County Line Road to LaGrange through the first roadwork zone, then Cicero to Kedzie through zone number 2, 46 into Lakeshore Drive, and 32 on the Ryan into downtown. Southbound Drive at 11, 13 if you're traveling northbound, and everything is on schedule with CTA Pace and Metro this morning. That's traffic. Bob and Marianne, back over to you.
Thank you, Sheila. Coming up on 7:06 now.
Let's get to the news with Mike Pomerantz.
Thank you, Marianne and Bob. Good morning, everyone. A police chief is wounded and a man is dead following a shootout in West Suburban Downers Grove. Last night, 35-year-old Gregory Palma barricaded himself inside his home when police responded to a call. Palma was apparently trying to force his way into a neighbor's home. Well, after a 4-hour standoff, Palma allegedly opened fire on police.
Approximately 4 to 5 shots fired, maybe a couple more. Seen the guy go down. Cops swarmed him. As they backed off, you heard like a big boom, and just and you seen a flash.
Police aren't saying what that blast was, but officers did shoot and kill Palma. Chief George Graves was treated for a gunshot wound to the leg. An Englewood man may be charged today for the murder of 11-year-old Ryan Harris. The Daily Southtown reports this morning prosecutors will charge Floyd Durr with that killing. Durr has been a suspect since October when DNA tests linked him to the crime scene. Here's the latest now on the shooting at the high school in Colorado. All of the victims' bodies have been taken out of Columbine High, and parents have been notified. The death toll from Tuesday's attack, 15. Investigators spent yesterday combing the school for any bombs left over. Police are questioning people who knew the suspects and are scanning computer records for any clues. With the latest on the investigation, we turn to Trace Gallagher.
Come to grips, they held each other, struggling to make sense of a senseless act.
It makes me sick to think someone could have so much hatred inside them that they would think to do something like that.
I had a good friend that went there. Now he's gone. He's not going to live his life.
Amid the compassion and tears, horror stories keep flooding through, images still all too vivid.
Turned it on us, and he just did a direct line of bullets right up. And they just bounced across me, hit 2 of my friends.
We have seen the pictures of students scrambling to save themselves. Now SWAT teams are painting a clearer picture of what the scene was like.
It was just a mess. The explosions, the bombs had set off the fire suppression system. The sound of the fire alarm going off, radio traffic, it was just chaotic.
Despite the heroic efforts, 15 died, 23 were wounded. Rick Castaldo's son Richard remains hospitalized.
Even though my son's still has a bullet in him and he's in the hospital and he's in critical, I still feel fortunate. And some people weren't as fortunate.
While the wounded recover and the community heals, everyone wonders what turned Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris into killers. Nearly everyone knew they wore black trench coats, admired Hitler, spoke about guns. No one knew they would turn those guns on their classmates.
I knew they were angry, but I didn't think they would do anything.
The parents of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold have issued statements saying they are sorry and that they too are struggling to figure out why this happened. As for schools in Jeff County, they are reopening today, except for Columbine. It is closed for the remainder of the year, the students here may be sent to other schools. In Littleton, Colorado, Trace Gallagher, Fox News.
Well, as Trace just mentioned, many of the students who escaped the shootings are still experiencing its horrors. Their parents say they have trouble sleeping because they no longer feel safe. And some students are talking about the victims, the friends they'll miss. Ann Kavanaugh joins us now with the details. Ann.
Mike, 15 people dead, the 2 suspects, 1 teacher, and 12 students. Every one of them had a story. There was a math whiz, a gymnast, a debate team member, and an aspiring actress. One was a 5-foot-tall African-American boy. Despite his small size, he was an athlete at the school. His father says his son never had a chance in an attack where minorities and jocks were targeted. The student victims ranged in age from 14 to 18. The teacher died a hero and is credited with saving many of his students' lives. The area around the school has turned into a huge memorial for the victims. Despite a heavy rain, mourners flocked to the area in large numbers, bringing flowers, balloons, and poems. Friends of one of the victims, Rachel Scott, turned her car, still parked in the school parking lot, into a shrine. Relatives of Isaiah Scholes are devastated and angry. Students say Isaiah was targeted for death because of his color. The family had moved to the mostly white community, hoping it would be a better place for their son to grow up.
Choosing this neighborhood and the school, and this is the ending results of it, yeah, they're angry.
They were genuinely nice to everybody. They didn't deserve any of it.
When the killers asked her if there was anyone who had faith in Christ, she spoke up and they shot her for it. And that is the most brave thing anyone could ever do. And I want that memory to live on.
All of the personal stories are so devastating. One of the most emotional, though, that I've read involves the teacher, who was also the girls' basketball coach at the school. His name was William Sanders. After leading many students to safety, he was shot in the chest. His students gathered around him and took off their own clothes to try to stop his bleeding. They made a frantic call to 911 from a cell phone they had, but help did not come soon enough to save their teacher. As he died in the arms of his students, they took out photos from his wallet of his wife and children, and they held the pictures close to his face and thanked him for saving their lives. You know, Mike, you hear 15 people died, and it's terrible, but when you hear each one of these personal stories, it's so much more devastating even.
Just awful. And thank you. In Kosovo, there are new developments regarding the 3 captured American soldiers. Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic has told an American reporter the soldiers are safe and they will remain unharmed. Meantime, NATO missiles struck one of the homes of the Serb leader. NATO says his Belgrade estate was destroyed last night. Milosevic and his family were not inside at the time. Meanwhile, Allied warplanes struck several other targets, including a Serb factory and homes in the central part of the country. And NATO has given the go-ahead to revise plans for a possible ground invasion that could involve thousands of U.S. troops. And that's a look at our top news stories so far this morning. Back over to you now, Bob and Marianne.
Thanks.
Sure. 7:12 right now. Before we move on, we have to thank the Wheeling Prospect Heights Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Nice enough to invite us out to speak to their luncheon group yesterday. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we found out when we were introduced is that this program has won 7 Emmys.
It was news to us.
But we did a little research, here, and we found out that, yes, it is true that, where is it here? There it is, 7 Emmys for technical excellence, writing, and performing. There you go. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It's true.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
So we're going to be nicer to the staff
okay.
from now on. This is Take Your Daughter to Work Day, and the idea is raise the self-esteem of your children. Is that it? Of
daughters.
Yeah. And through the years, we have acknowledged this date here, and you have been joined here by your lovely daughter, Natalie. Mm-hmm. And why don't we...
It began when she was 4 years old.
Why don't we bring her in here, but first look at these pictures from a few years ago. She's always fascinated with me, you can tell. She's riveted. You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And then 1998, You see, her body language is getting a little better to me. And then, then last year.
That was last year.
Oh, yeah, that was last year. Here we are, live today. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Good.
Well, what's the best thing about being on television, by the way, every year like this? It's fun. And Marianne, before we reveal who else is here with Natalie today, do you want to explain why you have actually decided to come on right over here? Why you decided to bring Natalie's friend?
Natalie's friend, Natalie's brother is here today because it's always a problem every year. It's take your daughter to work day, and Michael says, "What do you say?"
I want to go too.
Michael, how have you felt the past few years when only your sister has come to work? How has that made you feel?
Bad.
Yeah. And how do you feel today?
Good.
And how old are you, Michael?
7.
And Natalie, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Uh-huh, okay. And is there anything, question you'd like to ask me? I ask you questions every year. Is there anything you'd like to know about anything here?
No.
Would you like to, meet somebody else, some of the other kids who have come to work? You know, the staff, everybody brought kids today, and some of them are over here from our various behind-the-scenes Emmy Award-winning departments.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, kids. How you doing? Nice to see you all.
Aaron, Kristen, Maggie.
And Marianne, these belong to?
Gary.
Gary Zeleny in the graphics department. Nice to see you again.
The guy who's usually eating massive amounts of food in our control room
Makes
shots.
you proud of your dad, doesn't it? How when you see him on TV eating all of our free food, huh? You like that? Yeah. And joining the kids, again, like you, Marianne, I had some trouble at home last year, and so I decided to bring...
Because last year you brought your daughter...
The adorable Heather, yeah. And I'll tell you, her brother, like your son Michael, her brother was very, very, very despondent. And so I brought young Dominic, my son. Hey, Dom, how you doing? Where's Dominic? He's over there with the other kids. There's Dominic, and because a lot of the moms and dads you talk to, Dominic, easy on the smokes, okay? A lot of the parents you talk to say what you do.
Exactly.
That the boys feel left out.
Right. There's not a lot of family resemblance there between you and Dominic, is there? It must be from the other side of the family or something.
He's from the Soprano side of the Surratt family. We'll be right back. It's 7:17 now. Let's take a break, shall we?
Yeah, and still ahead on Fox Thing in the Morning. We'll check the papers. We'll also check weather and traffic. And also later on, we'll have the latest on what's going on in Colorado.
And Bruce Wolf will be here with the sports. Oh, my. We've got basketball to show you and also Scottie Pippen to talk about. A drunk driving arrest last night. And all the baseball, too. Back in 2. Now take a look at the opening market numbers. Fog and 46 right now. Showers and storms today with a high of 55. Right now it is 7:20.
And let's get a quick traffic report. Are we doing that? No, no traffic yet.
Bruce is
How
here.
about Bruce?
Yeah, and could you tell your kid to snub out the cigar because I can't even breathe in here now.
Sorry.
All right.
I talked to him.
Scottie Pippen's most infamous number, 1.8, may be superseded by .10. Pippen was arrested for suspicion of drunk driving in Houston last night. According to Fox affiliate KRIV-TV, police report that Pippen was arrested shortly before 1 a.m. this morning in downtown Houston. Pippen had played with the Rockets last night and scored 4 points in a loss to the lowly Mavericks. Police say Pippen left a downtown club in Houston last night, was seen driving on the wrong side of a street, passed several cars, ran a red light, was stopped by police, failed a sobriety test, then refused a breathalyzer test at the police station. That refusal could cost him his license for 90 days. Here's how the White Sox beat the Mariners last night. A walk, a sacrifice, a wild pitch, a walk, a steal, a walk, and then a fielder's choice that scored 2 runs. Would you like me to repeat that? Or would you just take my word that it was the most brilliant display of hitless wondering since Nellie Fox scored on a double play to keep the Sox alive in the World Series 40 years ago? Hey, put a tarp on that. 24-minute rain delay. So Seattle's up 1-0, bases loaded in the 8th, and Big Frank up to the plate with a ground ball. Mike Caruso was out, but he takes out David Bell.